Hi, my name is Mickey Breckenridge, and we traveled up from the Northern Virginia, D.C. area to hang out with y'all, so I'm really impressed and thrilled about this gathering. I represent the Community Reformation of Wholeness Network, and we're a nonprofit that's just getting on boots on the ground. And the whole idea, much like what's happening here today, is about getting our community together to resolve the issues that we have in our communities. In addition to voting, we have some real issues with wellness. The reality is that as African Americans and those of us who have been caught up in this drama going on videos, on news every day, we have some real health issues to address. Mental health issues are not a game. Not only are we being killed by police, but we're killing each other way too often, and we're killing ourselves way too often. We got to take care of ourselves. So we're talking about getting folks together on every level, whether it's something going on at your school, kids are bullying your kid, we're getting together. We're pulling teachers and administrators and school board members and parents and kids together to resolve the issue. We're getting around the table to figure out what we need to do to make our communities better. So I just want to encourage everybody to get involved. If you're not already, not just when it's time to vote, and not just for the presidential election. Can I just pause and say that? Every election. The reality is that President Obama struggled because we lost the power in the House and in the Senate. So you got to be out for every election. Make sure you register to vote. And not only that, but get involved at your schools. And not only that, get involved with your locality. Get to know your congressman. Get to know your police department. We got to get involved. And so we're going to keep putting our boots on the ground and rubbing elbows with everybody who's doing what y'all are doing here today. One love.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing? All right, we shall know. All right, I'm just messing. So what I want to do is I go by Bless, and I'm a community organizer. So I was just sitting back there thinking the quickest way to get y'all to some people that got boots on the grounds right here in our city. So if you got your phones, we could do this real quick. Diana Powell, she is the person that's in charge of Bringing Back the Village. They meet every Monday night at Quarry Street Park. That's Bringing Back the Village every Monday from 6 to 8. That's Diana Powell. Then we have my brother Dennis Spivey. They meet every Thursday on Garner Road, 1817 Garner Road. And they discuss more economics, more about the laws and knowing your rights. So that's Thursday, Garner Road, 1718, with Policy Matters and Dennis Spivey. And then it's Monday nights with Diana Powell, Bringing Back the Village at at Davie Street Park from 6 to 8.
What up, everyone? It's Funky Stew. I'm just here to say a couple things. Number one, the hacker community, we stand with you. We want to give you technology to help enable yourselves. That's a big part of what I'm doing. Financial technology, infrastructure technology, mesh nets. I got posters. Also, the other thing, we're demanding that Wake Tech, if any of you guys go to Wake Tech North, we're demanding that they rename their buildings after civil rights heroes. We got Frederick Douglass, Miles Horton, and Dr. Jocko. So, right now the buildings are named A, B, C, and D. That's not what's up. Let's name them after civil rights heroes. That's it. Well, I got posters. I'm going to be inside sitting down. So, yeah.
All right. First, I want to give appreciation to all the action groups, all the committees, all the people that came out on behalf of their causes. Definitely appreciate it. I think also, too, that we have to understand that, it's bigger than just coming to hear a message. You have to walk away with some kind of action that you want to take. You have to walk away with a resolve of something that you feel like you can do on the ground level, and that's the main thing I'm trying to touch on. I'm not a speech writer, so I got my talking points written. Let me get those real quick. All right. Number one, as far as building unity goes, the first element that we have to work from and work on is trust. Trust is a key factor of building unity, and in the black community especially, or in America especially, it's hard to develop trust because in a capitalist society, trust doesn't aid the profit margin. As a community and as people, we need to rely on the fact that we know that someone else is working on our behalf when we're not able to work on our behalf. Someone else is thinking when we can't think. Somebody else is caring when we can't care. You have to know that somebody has your back out here. And having each other's back is the only way, because we can't rely on a government to do everything for us and be everything for us. I think that when you look at trust, we look at trust like falling back and somebody catching you, but that's not the only element of trust. Trust is default. If you go in a McDonald's, they have a health rating on the wall and you just trust that the food ain't gonna make you sick. If you go in a restaurant and the floor is a little slippery, you just, you trust that that sign is making you aware. So we trust things all the time. All the time we're trusting things that really aren't in our favor or working in our behalf. So it's not hard to trust your fellow man because you trust things all the time that aren't working for you. I think that if that element was more put to the forefront, you wouldn't have as many problems out here, because trust eliminates a lot of the questions in character, a lot of the questions in morality. Trust means that I don't have to worry as much, and worry is a key element to why we're where we're at as well. Stress, it's hard to think when your mind is focused on all these other things. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to really concentrate on what's important. And then also too, you can be easily distracted by mistrust. And if you don't know who to trust, you can be easily misinformed. So absorbing the right information and knowing where to get it from the right people is all an element of trust. Trust is a key factor in building unity. So I want us all to walk away with that first. Trust your brother, your fellow man, your sister. Trust the person down the street. Trust someone. Now, you can't trust everybody. I'm not saying just go out here blindly and be naive. But at the end of the day, we have to know that that's the first part of organizing. You're not going to organize with people you don't trust. You're not going to give things to people you don't trust. You're not going to put your money in the hands of somebody you don't trust. So you have to realize that, okay, there are people out here with positive groups, positive messages. There are people out here that you can trust that are going to work on your behalf and that care. That's a big factor. Number two, unity is how we address our needs faster. You can go to work, make your paycheck, save your money, do what you need to do. It can take years and years and years and years and years to become upwardly mobile. Upwardly mobile being you're consistently working towards getting yours on the up and up and up. It's hard to become upwardly mobile in a society that's not allowing you to do things. If you can go and, go to school and get in debt, and you can go over here and get in debt, and then you try to get a loan and you can't, then you're pretty much being stifled. So we have to understand that outside of just, unity for unity's sake, when people hear unity, it's just a term. It goes, yeah, we need to unify. Yeah, we got to get it together. That sounds good. That sounds real good. But how do you unify? How do you get it together? How do you learn to deal with that person over there and that person over there? The key factors are, it's going to be trust. It's also going to be education. It's going to be understanding, empathy. I think we have to see that a lot of things that happen in our society are because when people see things, they can't put themselves in your shoes when they see it. That's a big part of why it's hard to unify and it's hard to understand people. If I see something happening to you, if I can imagine that it's me, I'll really care. But if I can detach myself from the situation and walk away, then there's no reason to make no change on it. You know what I'm saying? So empathy is a key factor. And I think that if we know, as the people who feel like we're not being served correctly, if we know that, okay, we need empathy from somebody else, we can't just go ask for that. We have to show it amongst ourselves. We have to care and love ourselves, and we have to stand inside of our own shoes and know that, okay, I care about that guy over there. I care about that girl over there. I care about that kid over there. And knowing what that person's walking through and what they're seeing as they go through their travels is a key element to caring and understanding and wanting to unify. If I know somebody's struggle, I can respect them more. I think that when we have our issues with the police, there's a lot of detachment because they don't live in our neighborhoods and they don't come from where we come from. They don't see life like we see life. So when they come through and they throw you on the ground or kick you or something, it doesn't hurt them because they feel like you're a bad person or you've been stigmatized anyways in their minds. So what you have to do is create familiarity and empathy so that if he sees you, he sees himself. If he sees a kid, he sees his child. I think that if we create that and eliminate the barrier between, oh, I don't rock with the police, oh, no, forget the police. The reason we don't like the police is because there's no trust. You know what I'm saying? It goes back to trust. If you don't trust the police, why would you call them? You know what I'm saying? I don't trust them. You know what I'm saying? And I don't trust them on a whole level, on a mistrust level. I don't trust that they're looking out for my best interests. You know what I'm saying? I don't have enough familiarity with them for them to know me to care. You know what I'm saying? So I think that we need to organize basically a familiarity council, a council that forces the police to sit down with regular citizens and meet and talk and really understand who we are and empathize with us. Because I think if that is on the table, it's harder to just kick me and walk away when you have to know who I am. And at the end of the month or at the end of, every 2 months or so, you're gonna have to see me at a council meeting and I'm gonna hold you accountable for kicking me, then it's gonna be a little harder to just do that and walk away every time. I think that right now, the people that aren't, the bad cops are getting away with what they do because they're not being held accountable. When they do it, they go back home to their neighborhoods and they're still looked at like heroes, just like every other cop. So I think that if we organize a council that holds them accountable, then when we meet up, we can go, okay, officer such and such, we got 30 reports that this guy's treating people unfairly all the time. And then we can lobby against them. We can organize against them. We can use our unity as power to go out in the street and picket. Hey, such and such, specifically, this specific officer is a bad person and he's not operating correctly. And to get them chastised and get them villainized and demonized like they do us in the media when we haven't even done anything wrong. I think that if you have a cop that's out here doing things wrong to people on a regular basis, then that person needs to be held accountable. I don't think so much it's not a race issue or a social issue. It's an issue of accountability. It's an issue of trust. It's an issue of we're not unified against the things that we don't like. You know what I'm saying? So that's a key factor. Also, too, I have to touch on this. Education is the key to knowing what's going on. You cannot fight a system that you don't know how it works. The engine in America that it's built on is inequality. You have a land that is based in democracy and freedom on the backs of people who aren't accepted, on the backs of people who are getting villainized and demonized. So what you have to do is understand that educating yourself on this system is the key to fighting the system. You can't fight what you don't know. You know what I'm saying? You're just gonna be left out there for people who do know to control the situation. So we have to educate ourselves. Now, on what terms? You can't just go, okay, educate yourself and I walk away. It doesn't work like that. We need committees and groups and unions and councils devoted to creating a curriculum that we can live with. Like the lady that came up earlier and was talking about financial literacy. That's a key element of something that's not in our school system that we need to know. How to buy a house, how to play the stock market. You can't just go to class and learn this stuff. So we need to organize a curriculum ourselves that'll teach the life skills and the different elements of life that we need to survive and function in society. Right now, you can graduate from school and don't know how to live and don't know how to do for yourself. And that's a horrible way to be out here when you feel like your society is supposed to be looking out for your best interests. So we have to look out for our own best interests. You'll see that a lot of the talking points that I make come back to us doing for ourselves as a community. We cannot ask anyone else to do for us what we have to do for ourselves. Point blank, period. All right, like I said, organizing that curriculum. Also, we need to get into farming and agriculture and buying real estate. If you don't own the land, you can't control the land. If you're living on somebody else's land, they can always change the terms of how you're living. So we have to collectively pool our resources together because it ain't a spare $20 million just sitting around. Everybody got to put up $5, $10, you know what I'm saying? To a financial committee. We need a committee organized that is allocating funds and resources. Another committee that's allocating information for education. We did another committee that's just studying the law so that we know how to fight the law. Not studying the law just to stack up information, but studying the law that we can apply. And then we need a correspondence committee that can teach that information on a regular level to regular people. So we get a bunch of groups together, organize those groups, allocate our resources, buy land, farm, educate each other, and then we're on the path to starting to be equal. We can't ask for equality. We have to work ourselves and hold ourselves accountable and work hard and pool our resources together. It's not hard and it's not impossible, and it doesn't take you boycotting something for the rest of your life or something like that. All you gotta do is just put a couple dollars to a cause, put a couple hours to a cause, talk to people, talk to people, talk to people. Constructive dialogue. I always say solution-based dialogue. Hold on one second. I need to turn my phone off. Funky stew. Solution-based dialogue. We can't keep talking about the problem. You wouldn't go to a doctor and he goes, hey man, you sick. Hey man, you know you're sick. You're sick, man, you're sick, you're sick, you're sick. It's like, all right, what's the medicine I need? What's the remedy? Give me something I can use that will aid me. Don't just keep telling me I'm sick. So you don't want to keep defining the problem, stating the problem, stating the problem, stating the problem. You want solution-based dialogue. If somebody comes up to you and starts talking to any of that, man, I'm so tired of this, man. I said, well, give me some answers. Give me solutions. Give me things I can work with, things I can live with. When you're talking to people, always ask for solution-based dialogue. Always. Don't just talk to talk. Also, as well, there's a way to use your community. I'm hitting a lot of talking points because I want to address so many things, but I don't have forever to speak. So I just want to hit so many points. And I know that as I, step down from here, I'll be starting the organization of those groups that I was talking about and talking with everybody and stuff like that. But there's a way to utilize your community, and it's through ABCD, asset-based community development, using the tools from in the community to build the community. Everybody here has skills, gifts, abilities, networks, connections, time, resources. We look to the sky for answers when we don't know our own strengths. You were born with a mind and arms and legs and an ability to reason and a conscience. You have so many tools that aren't being utilized collectively that if we tap into those things, it's a lot easier to organize. When people think about organizing, they think about getting a bunch of ignorant people to turn their head in a whole different direction than they're going. But that's not organizing. Organizing is finding the like-minded people and teaching them how to sell that information to those who don't know. That's the key. If you know, you got to dress it up for people who don't know the right way so that they want to be involved. You're not going to be involved in things where you don't feel included or you don't feel informed. You don't feel like the people you're working with are on the same page as you. So when you utilize the community that you're in to build the community itself, you're working with a stronger brand of unity than going outside of your neighborhood or going to corporate sponsors or going to other elements outside of you. And it devalues your power when you have to feel like you need to go other places to work on developing your own communities and your own self. So utilizing the community, asset-based community development, using the community as an asset to build the community. All right. Now, what we're doing here is communing, we're having fellowship, we're having dialogue. And I think that these conversations are being had right now because of the things that people are seeing. But these conversations don't need to stop because we're not being sensationalized on the screen. We don't have to be triggered into caring about ourselves. You can care without somebody pushing you or without an event telling you that you have to go do something. Now, it might spark something. Of course, you see these things happen, you know that you want to bring about change, but don't let change only get brought about through tragedy. Don't let death be the only time you meet up. Don't let a shooting be the only time you start to care about your neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like, you really gotta care when no one's looking, if that makes sense. Care when it's not cool, you know what I'm saying? And, I don't have the best way to address these points. I'm just like a regular person, so I'm trying to really just give it the way I feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really have a spin on it. I know that certain things just really need to be said. business, we have to really start to support the businesses in our community that are trying to help us and that are trying to give back. I want to initiate something that everybody needs to hold businesses accountable for. I call it the 2% challenge. If the business that you spend money with can't give 2% back to the community that it's serving, then the business isn't worth having. We don't need businesses that will not support us. So we have to go to these businesses and ask, hey, my community spends a lot of money with you. I know you could allocate 2% of your resources to go back into developing the community. And if they can't do that, then let's boycott. Because we don't have to spend with people that don't care about us. That's a big thing is you don't want to put your money in the hands of people that won't give you a return. Meaning that I don't want to spend and I'm really just reaching these conclusions because I spend my money with companies that don't care about me all the time. But you don't want to consciously go and spend when you know that there's an alternative that will aid you. For an example, if you go to a bank and you deposit your money there on a regular basis and then you ask for a loan and you can't get it, then why bank there? Why give your money to people that aren't going to aid you? They're making money off of you putting your money in there. They make interest. So they're fine with you bringing your money to the bank. But at the end of the day, if you can't get a loan, if your neighborhood's not getting service through these people, if you can't get ahead based on the money you spend, then you have to spend elsewhere. Our power is in what we spend because you're going to spend regardless. So there's always unity in spending because you got to spend money, you got to spend money, you got to spend money. We spend $1 trillion annually, collectively, as the Black community. And it's always going up, up, up. They said, I think by 2020, 2021, it'll be at $1.3, $1.4 trillion every year in a $16 trillion economy, meaning that collectively, you can really shift how things are going. And guess what? You start taking your money certain places, people start coming back, being, oh man, hold on, you're taking your money somewhere? Wait. I'm ready to deal. I'm ready to cater to your needs a little bit more now because I see that money's leaving my pocket. So you got to understand that if you decide to take your money elsewhere, people are going to have to come back around and they will cater to you and they will give and start acknowledging things that they ignored when you say, oh, I'm going to take this dollar from Chick-fil-A and take it over here to, Jimmy's barbecue shack or something. Jimmy cares about the community. So Jimmy going to throw a neighborhood cookout now. Jimmy's participating in the 2% challenge. And I think that we have to support the small businesses that are willing to help the community. That's a big factor. Don't spend your money where you can't get a return. If they won't invest in your community, then it's not worth you giving your money to them, especially a bank to hold your money and they go make money off of your money and then won't loan you any of it. That's just not fair. It's not right. And I wouldn't ask anybody to accept that because it's almost a tragedy when money is the key factor to staying alive out here. Is the people that control the money ain't gonna give you none. I mean, that's not right. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. In Durham, there's a Black-owned bank.
Correct.
Merchant.
Correct.
I have in here, there's a,
She was bringing up Merchants Bank in Durham, and there's also Mechanics and Farmers here in Raleigh as well.
right, and I have a Black business directory.
Oh yeah, definitely.
In here. If anybody wants it or wants to help distribute it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, for the most part, the banks that we have to be supported. I'm pretty sure that collectively, if we started an initiative, the banks would comply. I think if we just started an initiative to say, hey, we want a political rally, we want a food drive, we want a toy drive, we want a cookout every so often from this bank for their support, we can get that if it's a bank that supports us. So I think that we don't know that we're missing out on so many things that we could ask for, so many things that we could demand if we hold people accountable, hold corporations accountable for caring. Now, there's also a void in business that we're having. You can't walk away from a business, spending from a business, if there is no alternative to go to. So I can't say don't go to Walmart and then there's no place to go to get those same items. We have to find voids where you see that there isn't a business and it could be one, make that business. And then if we start a network, the unity will get that business growing faster than just you on your own. If you have a network, an action network, a true network of people, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 strong. When you get ready to start your business, it isn't just you having to save up 20 grand. It's, 3,000 people putting up $4, and that business can be started in a matter of weeks. Unity means things can happen tomorrow. It ain't in 5 years we can, it ain't that. Unity is tomorrow. Tomorrow. The power in unity is tomorrow. Fast change, not in 50 years, not in 3 years, we might can. Tomorrow. Change can happen tomorrow. You don't have to accept the status quo. You don't have to accept anything. You can change things collectively fast. One person can do a little bit, but a lot of people can change everything real fast. We need businesses. We need businesses. We need businesses. And then we need to support those businesses. The growth of business is your voice in America. In a capitalist society, corporations speak louder than people. In a capitalist society, corporations speak louder than people. So if we form corporations, we be heard louder than people just talking. We need a conglomerate because we don't individually have the funds. So if one person has $10, 1,000 people has $10,000. And that's the money that starts the businesses that we need. We can buy all the gas stations. We can buy whole neighborhoods. We can buy real estate. We can buy theme parks, bowling alleys, whatever, anything. Trucking businesses, loan businesses, everything. But we have to collectively allocate the resources and become a corporation, because corporations' voices are louder in a capitalist society than individual people. So a conglomerate can really move and really get things done. And it's nothing to put money together when you have that trust of a conglomerate. If I know, okay, I put $10 in, and I know 30 people that I know are also putting $10 in, and I trust that they're going to do that, then I know that within 5 weeks, we can start a legitimate business. That's how things get done in America. People with money get with other people with money, and they put their resources together, and they do things bigger than they'd be able to do on their own way faster. You have incremental growth, and you have exponential growth. You can take a step at a time. You'll still get ahead. It'll just be a long time. But collectively, we can make leaps and bounds and grow exponentially. You don't have to use addition, you can use multiplication.
Say that.
Yeah.
With travel out there.
What you say now?
Travel industry.
Oh, what?
The travel industry.
Okay. I mean, I got to do a little research on it, but yeah, that's definitely what it do. But yeah, we have to grow in leaps and bounds. We can't just grow one step at a time. All right, I got a paycheck, I got another paycheck, I got another paycheck, I got another paycheck. 7 years later, all right, I think I'm ready to start something. I done saved up $20,000 over the course of 7 years. I think I can start something now. Then you start that business and it failed. Oh, dang, I'm back to work. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's not the business. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not how stuff is supposed to go. You don't have to sweat it out and bust your tail forever just to get a little bit. You don't have to do that. It doesn't have to go like that. I think that the black community especially gets used to the sweat of the brow. Boy, I work hard, I bust my tail, get my little results, and I go on about my business. We don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. Struggling is not a necessity. It's not. You can get by without a struggle, and you can get ahead without a struggle. Now, you're gonna struggle in life. Life ain't struggle-less, but you don't have to just go straight through the mud every time. You don't have to. You can get it off the ground. You ain't gotta dig through the mud every time. Collectively, so much more can be done. And that's what we have to focus on. The conditions that you are in create rebellion. Once you can't take what's going on anymore, that's when you step up. We see those shootings on TV, we feel like we need to organize. People supported the GoFundMe, now everybody's standing here. That's what moving is. That's what a movement is. This was put together through a collective agenda, collective resources. because of the conditions that people saw. People saw the conditions, and it created the need to come together. And that's what people have to walk away with. There's a need to come together. There's a need to come together. There is a need for it. It's not just a good idea. There's a need to come together. We have to. Our lives depend on it. As people, human beings, your life depends on coming together with other people. You cannot live and thrive in society alone. So we have to know the power of coming together. I keep stressing it, but the conditions have created the rebellion. The conditions have created people who want change, who want different. So we have to use our energy and use those conditions to our advantage. We can't say, oh man, I saw that and now I'm sad and I'm gonna walk away and I'm gonna be sad. No, I saw that and now I feel empowered with knowing that I have to step up. I feel like, okay, now I can't be silent. Now I'm not just gonna sit down. I don't take anything on the chin. It's not worth it. It's not, all right, I'll just go on about my business. It's not worth it. You don't have to take it on the chin. You can stand up for yourself, and you don't have to stand up fighting or with guns and violence and things like that. You fight with your money and your education. You fight with your money and your education. That is the fight. It is a stab in the heart to take $1 from somebody. I promise you. You take $1 from somebody, it's just like hitting them. It's like being shot because my survival depends on that money. So money and education is the key. What you know, this world is battle of the smartest. The people who know try to keep things from the people who don't. That is the name of the game. Battle of the smartest. So the more you know, the less you can be gotten over on. But if you don't know, then anybody can tell you anything and you're just gonna think it's good. That's really what it comes down to. And I'm speaking from a real candid standpoint. I'm not up here trying to be, you know, Mr. Proper or nothing like that. Like I'm dead serious about what I'm talking about. We really have to understand that education is the key. Now, if we say education is the key, it's like, all right, we need a program, like I was saying, a curriculum. The curriculum, number one, is of course gonna have financial literacy, housing, you know, stocks, things like that, investment, the power of investment. We don't understand the power of investment because we're forced to spend so much of what we make when we get it. In our community, $1 circulates for about 6 hours before it's funneled out into another community's pockets. 6 hours, that's no time. That means from the time that dollar hit, it's gone. Gone, gone, gone. In the regular world, 36 hours of circulation. So we're spending our money 6 times as fast as everyone else with no return because we're spending with companies that won't give us nothing back. You go buy a Sean John shirt from P. Diddy, he's gonna set up a college fund. He's gonna set up a Rock the Vote campaign. He's gonna set up so many things because that money got spent with him. And he's gonna reinvest back into his community. And that has to be acknowledged. If you go spend with Versace, which I have, they ain't putting no money back. Once you start to realize that, you start to feel cheated. You start to feel cheated. Like, hold on, I just put $1 over here, got nothing back, put $1 over here, got nothing back, put $1 over here, got nothing back. And now I gotta go struggle to get another $1. It doesn't have to go like that. You put $1 over here, at least get 10 cents back. You put $1 over here, get a nickel back, you'll feel better. It's just really what it comes down to. Economic power is the key to empowering all the other parts of our lives. We can't just change our whole status quo at one time. It's not one day I wake up and the whole America's just better and life's just better. It doesn't work like that. It's a small step, a small step. It's those small incremental steps that when you look back, you go, wow, that was an exponential step. And that's the way we have to look at what's going on. It's not we wake up tomorrow and all right, everything's all good. It's gonna take some steps. It's gonna take some time. But we have to commit to it because there really isn't another choice. It's not like you can walk away from unity and go, oh, I'm gonna take individualism and get the same result. You're not gonna get the same result. It comes through unity. It comes through collectively pooling together resources, collectively educating each other, collectively teaching each other what it's worth to be together. I think that if you look at the breakdown of family in America right now, you can also look at the breakdown of tradition. And then you can look at how income inequality grows as you break down family because there's no reason to pay you properly. There's a time where family is the obligation in society. You work at your factory, you go home, you raise your kids, you get your job, you put your kids through school, you know, daddy get the big piece of chicken, and that's how life goes. Over time, when the factory closes down, now that we don't really need you to sit stationary in one town for 20, 30 years. So there's a breakdown in the way that society is going to function based on the way money's being made. If there isn't factory jobs, then it has to go over to the computer world and the tech world. Then it has to go over into the banking world. So we have to get in the worlds that are winning. We can't just stick with what we want to stick with. We have to get in the tech world. We have to get in the banking world. How do we get in those worlds? We have to start a finance committee. We need a group that's thinking about money all the time, pooling resources all the time, thinking of new ways to get money all the time, playing the capitalist game. You can't win at a game you don't play. If we playing Madden and you put the controller down, I'm definitely about to win. I'm definitely about to get the win. Like, you can't beat me without hitting buttons. And you gotta know the configuration of the controller. It's a video game reference. People who don't play video games. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing is you can't win not hitting the buttons. You can't win not knowing the configuration of the game. You got to know how the controller works, and you got to hit buttons to win. There's no way to withdraw from society and still get a win. You can't do that. You can't not vote, not participate, and still go, all right, they need to care about me and put resources together for me and my people. It doesn't work like that. Definitely. Please, please, please register to vote. Voting gets really downplayed today because they know that if you don't do it, it's an easy win for them. So they'll make voting look like it's not working, it doesn't work, it doesn't do anything, oh no, it's, you know, popular vote and all of this stuff, electoral college. Vote, 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 vote. Very, very. There are states, I think Alabama specifically, had a situation where they shut down so many voting centers that there were only about 2 left in the whole state, just to make sure that you wouldn't be able to get to that ballot. That's how important your vote is. That if I make an effort through the government to take it from you, then you know how important it is. Ain't nobody working to take nothing from you that ain't important. I'm not busting my tail to take the lint off your shirt. The lint don't mean nothing off your shirt, but your vote means everything. So I'm working hard to take your vote from you. And that's the part that we have to look at, is where your power is where the powers that be are gonna act. Nobody's gonna bust tail to just do things just to do things. It doesn't work like that. There's always an agenda. There's always a reason. So if your vote is being suppressed, it's for a reason. And there's a legitimacy behind why your vote is being suppressed. Yeah. There's a definite legitimacy behind it. There's a time where your vote counts, and it counts completely. There's a time where it counts, and it counts somewhat. There's a time where your vote has to count on someone else's behalf. So once you elect your congressman or your senator or your city councilman, these people have to act on your interest. Your interest is why you vote for certain people. If your interests aren't being met, then there is no need to vote for that person. How would they meet your interest? You have to have an agenda. Say that one more time. You have to have an agenda, meaning that if you go to your politician, he can't just guess what you need. You have to lay out an outline clearly stating the things that are needed, and then use those unity resources to make them see and understand what you're talking about. Lobbying for your ideals. Lobbying for your ideals. You can have a person that specifically goes to these politicians, specifically to make them understand what resources you're using and how you plan on using them. And I promise you, when your lobbyist goes to this politician and shows the economic power that you've put together, everybody is ready to deal. Everybody's ready to play the game. Right now, we're not coming with an agenda, a collective agenda. We should be right now trying to at least decriminalize marijuana. We should at least be having police accountability right now, at the least. If we look at the prison industry complex, the way we're getting locked up ridiculously, we need to be addressing that at all times. But you can't just speak on it and walk away. You have to put your money behind it collectively, because that's the only way to be heard. Collectively, putting our money together is the only way to be heard. It ain't cute, it ain't pretty. It's not the revolution with the guns and the, running around and stuff like that. It's a financial revolution that has to occur. And it occurs through pooling resources together, lobbying, writing our own laws up. We need a committee that we write the laws we want, and then we take those propositions to our government so that they're not just enacting laws on us, but we're participating in the system. That's right. It's an all hands on deck kind of game. If you look at racism in itself, it's a systematic engine, and it needs all types of mechanics to work on it. If you think about that for what it's worth. Love is the key element to dismantling any type of hate in any form. Love is a very disarming tool, and people don't know the power of it until they're using it. And once you use it and you see it's very hard to battle love, then you'll come with more of it and more of it and more of it. And you can pile on so much that there is no fight anymore. So we have to understand that love is a very key element to unity and trust that we can use to our benefit. Love is a key element to trust that we can use to our benefit. In an economic revolution, love actually plays a detrimental part, because the caring about your community is what's going to make you act. So the love of people is going to make us act. I love my people, so I feel obligated to do and say something. I can't watch the events that are happening and just walk away. It's very hard to look at my TV and see people getting killed senselessly in very simple situations that would normally just involve somebody just maybe getting cuffed or going to jail or getting a citation, and people are losing their lives. I can't turn my head to that. And I would ask that we all collectively commit ourselves to unity and love and action, because that's the key element to changing what we see. I'm not going to keep going on and on and on and on and on, but I also want to say, if you are in a gang or gang affiliated, please know that there is power in you, and you are being demonized and villainized because your power is not being harnessed. These people are some of the strongest people in our communities, and we have to let them know that we need your energy and your strength to help these movements. We need the energy and strength of those young, vital people with all that energy and all that heart and all that spirit. We need that harnessed into something that we can use to benefit from. So please know that if you are in a gang or any kind of street element, take some of that energy and direct that towards your community, because these are the people that you're running around alongside all the time. I grew up with a lot of these guys, and I know a lot of these guys, and I love a lot of these guys, and I hate the way the picture gets painted when I know these are good guys with good hearts, but I know that there is no outlet to show what they can do and who they can be. So what we have to do is create the proper platforms for our street people to be community involved as well. That's very, very, very important. I want all my street people to know that there is room in this movement for the streets, and we need the streets involved just as much as we need corporate America, just as much as we need middle America. We need the streets to understand what's going on as well, because education on a street level is just as legit as education in a classroom. And these guys are learning things at incredible rates, and they can take that information and use that in the neighborhood. So that has to be utilized. I want all my street people to know that we have to utilize some of that energy. Give some of it to the neighborhood. Some of it, you have to. You have to. Also, too, in closing, I really do want to say that I want to be transparent about what I'm trying to do. I want to be really open-ended. So I want everybody to get in touch with me or stay in touch with me or make some kind of contact. I think we got the book. We got the the book. If you can write down your name or your email information or a phone number or some kind of contact, everybody stay in touch with me. I don't want to have to start from scratch the next time I put together another event. I feel like we could start from us and then build from there. So everybody that came, I honestly appreciate everybody coming. And I want us to walk away from this starting those committees I was talking about. Figure out where you fit in. If you can cook good, start doing bake sales. If you are a mechanic, start helping people work on cars. We need an action network, meaning that we need a network of people giving resources back to the neighborhoods they come from. An action network. That's what we need. And everybody can offer something. If you just got a little bit of time, a little bit of energy, a little bit of information, a little bit of food, a little bit of money, a little bit of gas in the car, a little bit of something, offer something to the movement. Because change is real and it's fast. It ain't no in 6 months, maybe we can, in 2 months we can. You know what I'm saying? Like next week, stuff can really start changing immediately. And I think that once we start organizing on this level more often, it'll be more familiar with people what's going on. And it ain't gonna be this every time. It's not gonna be me going, all right, y'all, this is what we gotta do now. This is what we gotta do. I'm not trying to sit here and say the same thing 50 times every time we meet up. It ain't going down like that. We need to be really moving. I'm talking about straight up action. Like as soon as I get off the stage, I want everybody talking about, all right, I'm about to get in this committee or that committee or this committee or that committee. I don't want people like taking this and walking away and BSing, yo. Like for real. I want everybody like getting right for real, because this is something that I feel really passionate about and I put my life on it. Like I really do. I put a lot of my life into trying to become more aware and understand what's going on. When I was young, I did not know what was going on out here. I had no clue. And I keep reading and reading and reading and reading and hanging around these different people and reading and reading and reading and absorbing all this information. You start listening to Gil Scott-Heron, and next thing you know, the game then changed on you. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole new ball game. So once you know what's going on, you can't just go back to, regular life anymore. You can't just go, all right, I'm just gonna keep being ignorant and playing my video games and not worrying about my people. Nah, it's hard to do that when you completely know what's going on. So I think if we all should start to educate ourselves individually. I'd start throwing a couple names out there. Michael Eric Dyson. I read a lot of his material. Dr. Cornel West. David Hilliard. Chinua Achebe. Frederick Douglass, W.E.B. Du Bois. It's a lot of different reading material that I think we all need to pick up, but especially Michael Eric Dyson, because I think that the standpoint that he comes from, it touches on a lot of the things that we all need to be doing. I think that a lot of these guys, when they talk with such big words and such heavy rhetoric that it get lost on the common man. So I think that that's why we need a correspondence committee, somebody that can learn the big information and the big words, but take it down to the ground level and get it to regular people. I think that if people can understand what's going on, then it's easy to get involved. So those are really the main things I want going on. I want a finance committee, a law committee, a correspondence committee that's teaching. I want an education committee. And I think that we can start these things and going to get the ball rolling right now. Start, pooling together resources and buying stuff. If we set projects for ourselves and then we meet those goals, then everybody will understand what's going on. I think we could all, pull together, buy a couple gas stations in our neighborhood, just buy them so that they're ours, and collectively we, eat off of that. I see a lot of single mothers that need cars, like we could put together a drive to just, buy up a bunch of cheap cars and get them on the road, because there's things that need to be done and we have to fill in them blanks ourselves. If you see things that need to be done, we can start a committee and go on and get stuff going. If we can pull together 1,000 people, then you can get $20,000. You know what I'm saying? That's how it goes. And I think that we got to get serious about that right now. So as I get off stage, I want, everybody to start going to get the dialogue going and get the conversations going on, what committees we can start. And if y'all see things that y'all can do that I don't see, point it out to me. You know what I'm saying? Like poke holes, point out the flaws in what we're doing, and so we can make it better and keep, growing this to a point where it's perfect and flawless and we really are moving as a unified front. You know what I'm saying? So I really, really thank y'all for coming out. And like I said, I want us to walk away from this knowing that we can start committees and fundraisers and drives and all of that stuff. And we need to be doing it all the time. And especially somebody get with me on starting this education group, because we have to start teaching this information now. We need to write out a curriculum and start teaching this stuff ASAP. So thanks, and y'all Have a good one, man. I appreciate it.
We want to thank Brother Tap. I call him Tap. I've always known him by Tap, but Terrence Perry. We want to thank him for speaking. My good long-winded brother.